Hey everybody, Matt here, and today I've got an extremely limited edition of Corsair Ryemageddon single barrel. This is the first single barrel that we've ever selected from Corsair, who's been doing all these really cool experimental whiskeys and white whiskeys for the last several years. They were in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and then they moved part of it to Nashville, and they've just continued to grow and experiment with this. And the cool part about Ryemageddon, which is a fun name anyway, is how much rye spice flavor you could possibly get into a spirit. And I mean, there's really no arguing. This is not a gentle, this is not going to coax your palate gently. This is big. This is a bruising whiskey. Weighing in at 123.25 proof. So this is serious barrel proof stuff. 20-gallon barrel, but doesn't have that sort of craft whiskey new barrel kind of waxiness to it. The grain just completely dominates this this whiskey. You look at the color. It's not an extremely old whiskey, less than 2 years old, but the rye baking spice and the mint are just astounding. And personally, I tried this initially at 123 proof, and it was just too big for me. I couldn't taste all the nuance there, and so I actually took it down to right around 100 proof. This is right around 100 proof, and you can still see how dark it is even at that proof. And what you get is obviously that rye spice, that baking spice, cinnamon, allspice note right on the nose. When you taste it, because it's made with malted rye, you get some of that vanilla kind of malt flavor, that richness, that thickness. It's made with pale malt, and then it's also made with chocolate malt, which is really interesting. Provides kind of a toasted, roasted espresso bean flavor to it as well. I'm just a malt head. I really love single malt scotch, and so this actually reminds me more of a single malt scotch than even a traditional American style rye. You know, at first at 123 proof, I was like, whoa, I don't know if I can get into this. But as you can see, as we've drained the bottle back and forth here in the office, we tried this in a Manhattan, which was really fantastic because all that rye spice just was melding perfectly with the vermouth and the bitters. And then just on its own at that 100 proof, really fantastic. And I encourage people to do that, because if you have a whiskey that's barrel proof that you don't like or has spice, remember the best sort of metaphor for flavor is go out into the woods and take a deep breath, and then when it's not raining, and then as it's raining or right after a rain, go out into the woods and take a really deep breath, and the aromas and everything is just completely opened up. That's what water does to a forest, and that's exactly what water does to whiskey. Everything just gets turned up. So I would suggest grabbing this monster at 123, trying it at that proof, but then bringing it down to a proof that you really like and can experiment with, and that's just part of the fun of whiskey. So we've only got 60 bottles of this stuff. Corsair Ryemageddon, single barrel monster. Cheers.